Mega is an improvised satire from the staff of a fictional megachurch.
Hiya, I'm Halle, and this is Mega, coming to you from Twin Hills Community Church, where every single week we're giving our mega church a tiny family feel. Ooh, we love to introduce you to members of our church staff and people from our community, and I always find it to be a treat and a treasure. And per usual, I'm joined by my co-host. He's the youth pastor for our high school ministry called Climax. Please welcome Gray Haas.
Jesus is the reason for the season, Halle, and the season is, I guess it is still winter, but I'm still loving Jesus even in winter.
And spring is just around the corner.
Yes, it is.
We are too blessed to be stressed and too anointed to be disappointed. Well, just like the Bible tells us there is a season for all things, there is even a season for laughter, and that gives me pleasure to introduce our guest today, Mr. Aaron Coleman Howell. How you feeling today, Aaron?
My ears are burning. I could tell you were talking about me, and I'm feeling great. I'm so excited to be at Twin Hills.
Oh, Aaron, 7 nights you are here. It has been sold out. And you, I guess we would call you what? A stand-up comedian? I don't know a lot about comedy. I don't really get it. And so maybe we could get into kind of the theory around comedy. But you are a stand-up comedian, and you've sold out our 10,000 seat church seven straight nights. Isn't that right?
Well, it is right. And there's not a lot of areas that I will do 7 nights. Normally I like to do a stadium, get all 70K one night, move on to the next city.
Okay.
But Twin Hills, I grew up in the area, and it means a lot to me to be able to perform for 70,000 Christian youth. And
Wow.
it's just powerful. And I'm really sort of looking forward to the fellowship and spending the whole week with you guys.
Oh,
Amazing. A homecoming. Isn't that right?
yeah, this is so exciting because, you know, they say that laughter is the best medicine. I mean, do you think it's actual medicine? Is there something physiological going on when we laugh?
My family has always been sort of stalwartly against all medicine. And so laughter was literally the only medicine we had
really?
growing up. Any sort of ailment, chicken pox, broken leg, well, laugh it off. Laugh it off, my dad would say.
Wow.
And we would do the best we could with that.
And was your dad a comedian as well?
No, but he was very funny. He was not cognizant of his humor. But he worked at a factory, and everyone found him to be very funny, and they teased him and they taunted him throughout most of the work week. And then just like clockwork on Fridays at lunch, he'd explode. And he would just go after people who've been going after him all week long, and he would cry, and everyone would laugh and laugh and laugh at him. So he became known as sort of the funny mad guy around the factory, and that stuck with me. Yeah.
Wow. Well, have you started to associate pain with laughter from the way you grew up? Because, you know, we connect ideas. I mean, I can't see a Little Caesars without thinking of a slumber party and some breadsticks and red sauce dipping in there. I mean, now when you hear comedy, does it make you think of like your femur sticking out of your thigh skin and such?
Comedy it's a crutch that has propelled me forward. It is where I find the strength to get myself through anything, and to get all of my many fans through whatever it is that they need to get through my jokes and through, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and I know that like most comics and people doing specials and comedy and some such, like they're all really sick, right? I mean, there's so few clean Christian comics. What makes comedians so sick?
I know.
They are sick. They're very sick. And I know better than anybody because I spent a lot of time amongst the sick. I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with my background, but I was in Hollywood for years doing the dance.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, so
yes,
you were a
I
dancer,
was.
or were you?
No. Well, no.
Okay.
No. Gray. That's
gotcha.
just a sort of term of expression. I was
sorry. I don't get comedy sometimes, so I'm a little bit.
Well, then maybe I'll handle the descriptions of comedy then. Gray.
Okay.
I was playing the game, so to speak. I was really involved in stand-up comedy. I was at the Comedy Store. I was on the late night shows, but it was a den of avarice and vice, and everyone was so sick in the head. And they thought I was just one of them until I sort of had to leave.
Yes. Well, I think it's shown. I think God is obviously shining a lot of favor on you for leaving, because, you know, I am looking at all the stuff. You know, you've got merch, you've got this new album. I guess it's called Getting Up, which is you up on the cross with the microphone in one hand.
Awesome.
And I think
it's pretty cool, right? And those are
it is.
That's not Photoshop. That is my abs. I had a
Really?
Jesus diet. Yep. I did the Jesus diet for about 2 months before the shoot. I cut out all cheese, all sugars, and really got down to that sort of Christ-like figure just for the cover shoot.
Amazing. And it's obviously paying off, but I do want to get into what do you think? You know, I haven't seen your show yet. I do have tickets for Friday night.
Friday's the good one. Friday is always the end of the week. There's a lot of fun energy. People are ready to pop off a little bit.
Do you riff with the audience? Because some of the only time I really see funny things on the internet is when a lot of these stand-up comics are kind of riffing and they're going after someone in the audience and they're really taking it to somebody. And is that the kind of comedy that like are you gonna go after some people in the audience?
Gray, you said you don't know anything about comedy. That is all that I do, my friend. I go in there,
so no
I've
written
got
material.
Nothing.
Really?
Other than the numerous Instagram reels and even dating back to Vine, all the characters that I do break those out for about 95% of the show. I just rehash characters I've done online. But that other 5 is asking the crowd, hey, what's going on with you? What are you about? And just sort of seeing where that will take you. And I got to tell you, that is a part of the show.
I mean, I do remember. I mean, you kind of blew up, I guess, first on Vine and then of course YouTube and TikTok. But I remember a few of the characters again didn't laugh, but I thought they were really interesting, especially like when you would be like guy. I'm trying to think of fucking stupid internet video, and it's hard. When you go in the club, you had that one guy who's like, when you go in the club and jars of clay drops, and you did kind of that like funny. You kind of did a funny face, I guess. I think explaining internet videos is sometimes a fun way to think about how funny they are.
Yeah, I agree as well. And I like to explain. I would do one. It was just the kid who was chronically late for the bus. And it was just video after video of me chasing after buses. And a lot of times they wouldn't know I was filming a thing and they'd stop. And I'd go, no, keep going. I'm filming a thing. And it was just sort of a kid late for school, which really is a situation we can all relate to. And that was the first viral, so to speak.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. So what is the album if you make up every show? I guess is that just like, I guess I'm wondering, what is the album, just a bunch of the characters or is it just a bunch of riffs?
Well, it's not an album. There is no audio. It is just a video special. You cannot actually listen to it. We're not putting it out because my facial expressions is half of the humor. So it's a lot of, I've been described as aghast at a lot of things. I've been described as just sort of a what is that type of look. And that is what I think most people are responding to. I present situations and sort of with my face say, can you even imagine?
Oh, that's so cool. And I
Thanks.
just appreciate it so much that you work clean because I got kids and they like comedy. And I think that most comedians are under the impression that, a butthole is funny or a genitalia or a sex act and stuff. And you know that, sometimes all it means is falling down a couple of stairs or some such, a pratfall, like good old fashioned stuff that doesn't have to be all, farting in somebody's cake or mouth or something.
Totally agree. And I really know that better than anyone because I spent so much time doing that. And that is a period of my life that I regret. And that is a period of life that is over for me, rather famously. And I saw the other side and I saw how easy it was to make money than that. And I think a part of me saw how far I was straying from God. And I thought, it shouldn't be this easy. It shouldn't be this vulgar. Why don't you make it a little bit harder? And why don't you make it a little bit more clean? And since then, that's when it's really taken off. And yes,
what happened? I'm sorry to bring this up, but I did when I was Googling you. The one headline that came up was rubber-faced comedian ACH in back rubber-faced ACH. I guess you go by ACH sometimes.
I do, because Aaron Coleman Howell just is not. It hasn't had good phonetics, and I don't know why my father allowed my mother to attach her name as well. But that's for them to decide. And honestly, they don't even talk anymore. So I don't think that's ever going to get worked out.
I see. So rubber-faced ACH exposed again, I guess, was the headline that I saw. And then I didn't read the whole article because obviously you're doing great.
Yes.
But I guess it had something to do with a Zoom call or something.
Here's the thing. When President Trump, 45, descended down the escalator, he made some famous comments that I think a lot of people rallied around. Now, was I saying anything that he wasn't saying? No. But was I saying it louder and with different adjectives? Absolutely. And was I saying it on a Zoom call with the Hollywood Reporter, which I regret even taking? Yes, I was. I thought that a lot of people were as excited as I was about the movement. However, that was true in the rest of the country, but not in Hollyweird. And so some of the opinions that I expressed, which 45 expressed as well, and still continues to express, were deemed not suitable for me. And that's when I realized, well, then if these opinions are not suitable for me, perhaps it's time that I shift my opinions. And that's when I talked to my manager, Ari, and he said, Joe Rogan will have a spot for you, but there is some redemption to be had in the Christian market as well.
Ooh.
Right. Yes.
And that's when I really opened up my eyes, because as you know, I grew up in the Twin Hills area. It was impossible not to have faith around you. And I thought, yeah, that is a market I could probably crack open a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, Christians spend money, and Christians are a majority, even though we're the most highly oppressed people
Thank you.
Globally. But we spend money. I mean, we got God commercials in the Super Bowl. You know, we got Kirk Cameron coming out with his own channel of movies and such. And, you know, we got Jim Caviezel doing stuff for us now. And, you know, there's a lot of money to be made.
A lot of money.
Tell me about it. There's 10 nights worth of shows of money to be made right in your little town. So, yeah, it's fine. Everything's good. I don't need to get the LA buck. I will get the Christian buck everywhere I go. And I'm thankful for it. And I want you to know it's not just about me getting that money. I do donate 10% to my manager, Ari.
That's great.
Tithing. That's great. And you know what? You can take that Christian money and feel good about it, because you know it doesn't have abortion blood on it or stuff like that.
Exactly.
And do you think, Aaron, when it comes to what you do, sorry, I'm going to back up. And do you think, Aaron, that when it comes to the Christian market, that you know, are you really able to say exactly what you've always wanted to say, maybe, that Hollyweird in the lamestream media isn't letting you say? And maybe there's a lot of freedom in that.
You know, I'm finding the freedom to do it, because for the most part, I've found that Christian audiences really just like the faces, really just like the pointing out, and kind of going at sacred cows, so to speak. For example, you know, your senior pastor, Steve. I'll go out there and I'm going to do this. This is a little sneak peek, but I'm going to go out there and I'm going to be like, hey guys, want to see Steve trying to head to work in the morning? And I pull my shirt out through my fly. Like I forgot that that's sticking out. And I pretend, and in Steve's voice, I'll say, now who's ready to talk about the Bible today? And like, everyone's like, what? And so even that,
how do you even think of that?
It's a transgression, but Steve would love it, and it's sort of a safe way. It's a spoonful of sugar to deliver the medicine of the word. And so if you can sort of take these senior pastor figures down a peg by humanizing them, because we're all just humans in God's glory, cowering, quivering beneath it, just like Steve, just like you or me. Now the kids are really like, this guy, he's my guy, because it is fun to sort of take some shots at people that way.
And so, you know, I'm sorry, because this is a podcast, and sorry, God. You know, this is an audio medium, but I'm just trying to figure out. So, I mean, so you take a shirt and you're putting it So you're tucking it in
long
and
sleeve button up formal dress shirt. One
Okay.
would use
I'm
to
trying to-
preach in, for example,
Okay.
tucked into
Yeah.
a tight pair of khakis.
Okay.
Pretty creased
I'm usually in a
khakis.
vest, but that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, this is a more sort of formal, but not a
Okay.
tie, collar
No,
open,
okay.
one button undone, sort of trying to relate to the kids. And what I find is when people are trying to present themselves in this really nice way, such as this aforementioned outfit, to show a little bit of like, there's a loose thread. He forgot to untuck it from his from his crotch, and it's coming
And
out kind of looking like a penis. Now we're in some wild. Now we're in some zany territory.
That is zany, and it's not. It's not dirty, is it, Halle?
No.
And that's the fun thing is like you're not saying, "Hey, look what I'm going to do with this." You know, I'm not going to go put it in some place that it shouldn't be. You're just saying, "I was trying to get to work," and it's Steve, which makes it. You know, Steve can take a joke, I think, but
and it's a piece of fabric.
It's
you know,
a piece of
it's not a
fabric.
genital. And I'll tell you what, Aaron. Speaking of transgressions, I mean. You're going to have to be on guard now because you know what's going to happen with you as a godly man doing clean comedy? Well, the women are going to start throwing themselves at you. And you know what? You'll start getting into all kinds of trouble. If you date a woman who happens to be under 18, you know, people will judge that, not knowing whether or not, you know what, you might marry her. And that makes it okay. And
do you marry the first person that you date? Do you marry them after the first date? You don't. You get to know somebody a little bit. You learn through time whether they're 18 or not. And so, yes, people are, I mean, I don't want to open up my DMs, guys, because you don't have the time, but they come in. The messages come in, and I do my best to make sure everyone's of age, but I meet people where they're at. And if you tell me something, I believe you. Pardon me. That's just how I was raised.
I mean, and you take people at face value. And I think that is important. You're saying, look, I'm up here. I'm being vulnerable. I'm doing this really truthy comedy. And if you're going to come at me, you've also got to be straight up like you are.
Yep.
You see in my reactions to things that I am being very truthful. I'm shocked by most things. That is the shtick. And so, yeah, if I'm coming at life that truthfully, I think you owe it to me to come at me the same way. That's all I'm asking.
And so, I mean, you're a young guy. Are you?
Yes.
Yeah, and you're not married, I take it, obviously.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Oh, you were married. I'm sorry.
I was married to Mary Kate Olsen. Again, this is the Halle Weird days.
Wow.
Briefly.
One of the twins?
One of the twins.
Is that right?
Wow.
Not Ashley, Mary Kate. And we were married.
What is her personality like? I'm always a bit confused because they look a bit like, I don't know what it is about them, but they're always together kind of looking like ghosts hiding in a corner.
And how did you tell them apart and know you were kissing the right one that you're married
and
to?
I'm dating a twin right now, actually. This is fun that this is coming up.
Yes,
because my friend, I'm not sure if I mentioned him before, but his name's Clay Mason Bannerman, and we are dating some twins there, Tiffer and Mickey. And sometimes, I mean, their personalities are almost identical. We can't tell them apart. They wear the same things. And sometimes we're a little bit afraid that there might be a switch or a switcheroo or something. Were you ever worried about that with Mary Kate? Or I'm sorry, which one did you date?
Mary Kate.
Or
Mary
which one?
Kate,
Oh, no, you were in, okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But it's so funny you bring that up because Mary Kate and Ashley would have fun. So at the time I was dating Mary Kate, my good friend Dane Cook dating Ashley. And we would go out. We would go out together. And, you know, we're all in the zeitgeist. It was a big deal. It was paparazzi. We're around LA, and famously documented across a 10-page spread in Variety was Mary Kate and Ashley, these rascals switching scarves on us because that was the only way we could tell them apart was the scarves.
Oh, Scarfgate. I remember this Scarfgate.
Yeah.
Dane and I go to the bathroom to smoke cigarettes. And we come back thinking, okay, well, this is my date and that's yours. Turns out they had done the old switcheroo. And, you know, everyone had a real nice field day with that. But that was the crack because I knew that night I could not trust Mary Kate if she would do something like that to me so publicly. What would she even do in private? And then the fallout with the statements that I made. And all I have to say about Mary Kate is I wish her very well. And she is there for you when you're at the top of the mountain. She is there for you when you're at the top. And that's all I have to say about that.
Well, forgive me if this is too personal a question, Aaron, but when you were with her, and you would ask her a question and she wanted to answer in the affirmative, did she ever give you a thumbs up and say, "You got it, dude"? Like, for instance, "Honey, I was thinking maybe we could have some marital intimacy in the marital bed tonight." And she would go, "You got it, dude." Did that ever happen?
Early on, yes, because I asked for it. And she was sort of rolled her eyes and she's like, "Seriously?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing you do. I'd love to. I go on stage and I do the reactions. It'd be pretty weird if I didn't do that. And that's the thing that you do." So I asked her to do it. And I remember, I'll never forget the first time she did it. She said, "You got it, dude." And I went, "Have mercy."
Awesome.
Oh,
my
that is
so
a real dream.
How do
come
you think
true.
on your feet like that?
I think
That's
honestly,
quick.
it's a gift. It's a gift, and I
Yes.
have learned through time it is God's gift. I used
Yes.
to take such credit for it and think Adam, think Aaron, no one's ever been this clever, and it's you. You cracked the code. But now I realize none of it's me. It's
Wow.
him, and I'm just delivering the message, and I guess some levity in these heavy, heavy times because of him.
Wow.
And I did want to ask, because a few of my teens that come to Climax were sorry, that's the name of the youth group. I forgot to say that.
Got it.
And I did want to ask, because a few of my teens who come to Climax said that at the end of the show, although it was funny and everybody's laughing, that you get really serious at the end, that you really get down and give your testimony. And they said there were tears. They said, there were things that they didn't even understand really what you were talking about in terms of your past, and I guess. But isn't it so amazing that you are putting that all on, at the feet of Jesus, where it belongs, at the end of your show, where you've just crushed?
Look, I've been to hell and back, literally. And yeah, some people might think it's inappropriate to sort of just hit a group of 16-year-olds whipped into a frenzy over the past hour with the realness of my fall. But I'm not doing it for them in that moment. I'm doing it for the future them. Maybe they'll understand how I laid myself bare in 20 years when they've been through it. Yes, they just want to go. They just want to leave and go out and have a Friday night with their friends. But that's when I tell them, no, we're not done. Even though the laughter's finished, I still have about 25 to 30 more minutes of just heartfelt agony.
Wow.
And I don't know. I think that is what separates me from all those other Christian comics out there in the world, is that I'm very comfortable with non-laughter.
Yes. About what's the runtime of the show?
Runtime is 2 hours 15.
Okay.
Got it
Oh,
pretty
awesome.
dialed in. Pretty
Any
dialed
intermission?
in. Nope. No intermission.
Really straight through.
But there is a meet and greet that's a 45-minute meet and greet beforehand. And then for the VIPs, the extreme VIPs, there's another post-show hang. And that's sort of like a lock-in where we do laser tag and various jump roping games. Me with the kids till about 4, 5, 6 in the morning when their parents come and pick them up the next day.
Very cool.
And I see that, people can pay extra for the laying on of hands package, where you will, sit with these young kids and lay hands on them with, I'm assuming with prayer. Is that just personal prayer, or how do you do that?
Their preference,
Oh,
100%.
cool.
Whatever they're sort of open to and whatever their age is appropriate for, I'm there for it. So yeah, we don't really like to write out what happens during that time, but everyone seems to enjoy it. For sure. And I really look forward to it. And it is sort of the post-show come down that I need, frankly.
Yes.
Yeah. Where do you get the energy after a 2.5
Yeah.
hour
How
show?
do these
Hang all
comedians
night?
have so much energy? I've always wondered.
Yeah.
Just a lot of energy.
For me, a lifetime of no medicine except laughter has sort of led me to embracing medicine. And I have a doctor who has prescribed a litany of very, very, necessary medications that keep me going and keep me delivering the word and making them all laugh. And so I am, I do have a pill regimen that I take before, and that sort of just propels me almost to dawn. If I take them, if the show starts at 6 and I take them at 4, I'm good till about 6 a.m.
Wow. Well, as long as it's a litany, I think that sounds good.
Now, also forgive me if this is too personal a question, Aaron, but did you ever get to meet Bob Saget? Because I hear he works clean.
R.I.P. Bob. He doesn't, Halle. He was actually quite the opposite. Very dirty comedian. And I met him through Mary Kate. We did shows together because back then we were super simpatico. But I could see there was a yearning in him for more because it was empty. The laughs we were getting, they were loud, they were dangerous, but they were empty because at the end of the night, you went home and you were like, I just spewed filth. And I just went with the easy blue stuff. And is that my legacy? That's what I'm going to hang my hat on. And I could see that Bob was probably leaning that way, but he never had the time to sort of right the ship,
Wow.
Yeah, well, he seemed like such a good dad. I
know. How does it
upstanding guy.
And that's television. That's completely fake. That's just fake. That was a script he was reading.
Really?
It's not
okay.
real.
I thought some of that was even improv or something. I don't like improv, but I thought, okay.
No, it was all very, very fake.
Really?
Even the "You Got It, dude" was a line that was written for Mary Kate, and I
really?
thought the same. I thought, oh, you came up with that on set. That's you bleeding into the show. Not at all. They had a team of writers, the producers. Everything was very vetted. I was shocked too.
Now, what about Dave Coulier? Because did you ever get to meet him? Because I just thought he was so funny. And what happened to him? I mean, it's just like he went. I'm like, this is the breakout star of the show, and he's just not. Where the heck is he?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny you bring up Coulier because that is the reason I got into stand-up comedy. I remember, absolutely. I remember the Star Search episode of Full House, where Uncle what's his name? Not
Jesse.
Joey. Uncle
Joey,
Joey.
Yeah.
Uncle Joey.
Oh yeah.
Where Uncle Joey goes on Star Search, he wins. They have him come back, and he loses, and he has a crisis of faith, and he stops doing comedy, and he becomes a businessman, and he has a poster of Lee Iacocca on the wall, and it was a very funny turn for that character, but it was also very sad because he had lost his spark, and then over the course of the half hour, they got Uncle Joey back into comedy because, much like me, they realized that is the gift that he had to share with everyone. And I saw that and I said, comedy, that's what I need to do.
Awesome.
I need to be like Uncle Joey. And it's just the main regret in my career, besides everything that happened in Hollywood, was that Star Search isn't around anymore, and I can't do it.
Yeah, that is definitely So I guess that's your number 2 regret is what you're saying.
No, it's my second regret. It's my second but there are only 2, and so that it's the bleak 17 first years of my career that were thrown away through some stupid things that I said in one interview, and not being able to go on Star Search. Those are the 2 big regrets that I have.
And now I've tried to find any information I can about Dave Coulier, and as far as I can tell from his Instagram, it's like I think he's into some kind of like bare knuckle boxing or something, MMA. I mean, it just seems like he's totally gone off the deep end.
Well, listen, if you lost Alanis Morissette, you'd lose your mind as well. And I think
they were together.
Whoa! You ought to know they were together.
Oh, how ironic!
Wow. Might I ask you, Aaron, about Uncle Jesse and if you met him? Because I really feel like I know God doesn't make mistakes, but boy, did he have to make that actor, so attractive to ladies.
Stamos.
In fact, I wondered, like, is he kind of one of those fellas that makes guys gay? Because he's kind of pretty, isn't he?
Stamos would hang around the Comedy Store during the sort of dark years of the store, and he made a lot of guys gay. And I can say that firsthand. I saw it firsthand in the green room, and I don't want to spill the tea, as they say, but yeah, I mean, Stamos would come in, post-shoot, leather pants, hanging in the green room, kind of grab-assing with the boys a little bit. And, some of those people in Hollywood are very easily tempted, and seemed like Stamos was kind of there to lead him down that path. I don't know if through his fault of his own or just sort of the natural charisma he exuded, but many a comedian left with Stamos that night. And I can't say what they did, but certainly there were evenings.
Well,
I don't see it, honestly, Halle, and I'm sorry. I've just got to interject here because I just don't. I never saw what people.
He's a beautiful man.
Oh, I just don't see it at all. He looks so small, and he's like one of those.
Gorgeous.
He's like a miniature sort of Tom
motorcycle.
Thumb kind of guy. He seems like maybe 4 feet tall, but all his proportions are. I just don't see it. Sorry.
Gray, do you find any Greek men attractive?
I mean, I can't even look at a guy seriously, Aaron, that I'm just like, that is my, it's just really, I guess what I'm saying is it's really hard for me to even think of a guy as being like attractive. Like, I don't even know what you mean, kind of, you know what I mean? I just can't even. Like, I just like ladies so much. I'm dating an awesome lady right now. She's awesome. Right. And it's just awesome. And so, like, when I even think about, I just don't even think about that, I guess, is what I'm saying. I've never thought.
In my line of work, you meet all types. And so I guess I just have kind of been forced to think about it sometimes. And I definitely can see it. Halle and I are not too far apart on this one. I can see it with Stamos for sure.
Did he ever become a sexual stumbling block for you, Aaron?
There were advances.
Oh no.
But no, when it comes to heterosexuality, very stalwart. Always have been, never tempted. Just because I can appreciate beauty in a man, it's just like how I can appreciate religion elsewhere outside of Christianity. Like, I get that it's something you're into, but it is not for me.
Yeah.